This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I talk about social media, how important it is for our government, for the CIA to use social media to brainwash people, not only to use as mind control on people, but also for spying. They use these things for spying. That's why the CIA operates with Facebook, to get this data from Facebook on all of us. They even show on television shows. I told you about a show that aired called Hunted, where they showed how the FBI, the whole goal of the show is people were on the loose and they were trying to escape the actual FBI, former FBI agents and stuff, all these people who were, on the show who were supposed to chase after him. The first thing they use over and over, even before they use cell phone tracking, is Facebook. See who your friends are to question. See where you go. See who's going to, everything you could possibly see connected that people willingly give up on Facebook. Well, here's more interesting news from Facebook. Facebook apparently has a patent, which they've had since 2014, but the information has just recently surfaced, in which they could spy on people through your webcam. Surprised? You shouldn't be. Facebook has a patent secretly watching and recording users through their webcams and smartphone cameras. The document explains how the company would use technology to see how your facial expressions change when you come across different types of content on the site. It would analyze those images to work out how you feel and use the information to keep you on the site for longer. So people are going to hear this and go, well, why is that really a bad thing? And I'll read on what it's supposed to do, because this is the stuff the masses falls for. They go, oh, they wouldn't be spying on me. I'm not hiding anything. Oh, this is just for marketing purposes. It says if you smile as you look at pictures of one of your friends, for instance, Facebook's algorithm, which they've patented, would take note of that and display more pictures of that friend in your newsfeed. Sound a little scary? That's how deep this technology runs. If you smile at the picture, they would start feeding you more photos of that person. Another example included in the patent application explains that if you looked away from your screen when a video of a kitten played, Facebook would stop showing similar type of videos in your feed. So this is how they'll explain these things, right? And people will go, oh, that's not really a big deal. Good, because I don't want cat videos in my feed. I'm not interested in that. So fine, I'll look away, and then I don't have to get bombarded with cat feed pictures. That's how stupid our society has become. This is the way that they brainwash people into giving up their privacy. Oh, that sounds like a cool technology, right? We're already hearing about airlines now using facial recognition, all this stuff we've seen, which has been predictive programming in movies for a long time. Tom Cruise Minority Report pretty much sums up the face recognition and all that stuff. It goes back to the 80s. It goes back to as long as they've really had movies showing us what they're going to do, specifically with removing our privacy, and of course 1984. The article says the document raises more concern about a company that in 2014 was found to have secretly manipulated hundreds of thousands of users' news feeds as part of an experiment to work out whether it could affect people's emotions. I covered this earlier in my channel about a year ago. Okay, and I'll explain it real fast for those of you that didn't see it, because a lot of you are obviously new to the channel. They, without permission of users, were manipulating news feeds and then studying what you wrote or people wrote as their status update to see if they could affect people. So in other words, putting in fear article, this type of article, and then seeing, well, did they write a positive message or a negative message? This is all MK Ultra. This is all mind control. That's what it's being used for. Yet people out there just refuse to believe that this is really going on, that they'd really be spying on you. And then if they do find out they're being spied on, they go, well, I'm not hiding anything. And they're going to take privacy away from all of us, which they've already done, because let's be realistic, we already know that the government spies. Now, this is what's funny about this article, because I actually didn't even know about this. Apparently, last year, Mark Zuckerberg was seen in a photo in front of his laptop, and he had tape over the camera of his laptop as well as over the microphone jack. So he knows that computers are used as spying devices. Now, our government hacks into ours, especially people who are awake and they know, that are on a list, people that they know are making a difference and know are notifying people about what's going on. Of course they spy on us. But you might say, why does Zuckerberg have tape on his computer? Well, think about it. They know that computers are used for spying. They're spying devices with the camera and with the mic jack. Now, obviously, Zuckerberg is in bed with all these elites. There's no doubt about it. All you got to do is look at the Zionists and realize what he is. Harvard grad, Ivy League. Everybody knows the fake story we've heard about Zuckerberg. But he's not interested or worried about our government spying on him. What he's worried about is hackers actually hacking into his computer. Because when people tell me all the time, they go, aren't you worried you're going to die or something's going to happen to you? Not at all. Not at all. That's the stuff that they fear. They fear somebody hacking into their databases and showing their conversations, revealing what they do in secrecy and private. And they know by using these types of computers and stuff that they still have to use the proper precautions so that people don't, like legitimate hackers, don't hack in and spy on them, especially truther/hackers, people who are awake and aware, who would say, all right, we should hack in and spy on Mark Zuckerberg. Well, Zuckerberg's aware that they use this technology in the CIA and the FBI, so he's prepared. But still, people go, oh, it's not a big deal. He's worried about it, yet his company has a patent on recording your face without you knowing it, without asking you for permission, so that they can target things to you in the news feed. That's the excuse they give, but we know what they're really doing. And what's even funnier about this is the man who's in the news as we speak, James Comey, the former FBI director. Also, it was noticed that he did this as well, and this was his response. I saw something in the news, so I copied it. This is the supposed former director of the FBI. This is what he says about spying, about cameras in because his computer was found to have tape on the lens, the camera lens, and tape on the mic jack as well. I saw something in the news, so I copied it, Comey's hood. I put a piece of tape. I have obviously a laptop, a personal laptop. I put tape all over the camera because I saw somebody smarter than I am had a piece of tape over the camera. Oh, and people buy that excuse. This is the director of the FBI who's going, I saw someone smarter than me who has tape over it. Oh, as if he doesn't know what the FBI and the CIA do. Of course he does. We're all aware of the spying. And the FBI, everybody knows, uses this technology to hack into webcams, to spy on whoever they're targeting. And these guys are worried that a real hacker out there, a legitimate hacker, will break into their webcams because they know the FBI and the CIA do that all the time. So now the question is, have they already been doing it since it's been patented since 2014? They claim no. They're trying to push it and say, well, we have patents for a lot of different things, but we don't go through with them all the time. And this starts with Facebook, and then it moves on to other ones. But we know that the government does this and spies. But now people are willingly going to allow these social media sites because the obsession they have with these social media sites, they're going to allow them this. Because even if somebody finds out, this story should be enough for anyone out there who's protective of themselves, protective of their privacy, protective of their family to get off Facebook, knowing that this is something that's, supposedly in their plans, as if we're going to believe that they're not doing it now already when they have a patent for it. So if you're not somebody who's already left Facebook, I would think this might be the start of wanting to get off there. And hopefully you already have tape over your camera on your phone or on your computer. But no, people just walk around filming everything all day. There is no privacy anymore. And soon all these social media apps will openly be admitting to doing this. But the scary part is the zombie nation that they've created. People are going to literally think this is great. Oh, great. You could control and watch my face, and if I like to see pictures of this hot girl, then all the pictures in my feed will be this hot girl. Cool. And that's how dumbed down our society is. That is what's going to happen. Remember, I've been saying it since any of you who follow my channel, I say it almost in every video. This is nothing more. Everything that you see going on is nothing more than a mind control operation. No matter what it is, no matter whatever you venture into down the rabbit hole. If you're somebody who just is very interested in flat earth and round earth, well, that all relates back to mind control, right? If you believe that the earth is flat, well then they controlled your mind to think the earth was round, or vice versa. The whole thing is about mind control. And people are willingly going to accept and want these things due to mind control. They're going to want martial law. They're going to want their privacy gone because they're going to think it's an upgrade in technology and that it's cool and it's hip to have this type of technology. And it saves them time, right? All you got to do is have a couple commercials about how cool it is, right? Have celebrities endorse it. Say, it saves you time too in your news feed so we can see what you like. And people will be on board. Oh, that's great. Saves time. I mean, look what they've done with the Amazon Echo and the Google Home. And I even covered how they have a new one which records you and gives you fashion tips. Robots pretty much in your house. And people are like, this is great, this is wonderful, you're paranoid. I'm not paranoid at all, because none of this crap's in my house. I ain't got none of this stuff. Google Home, if I see a Google Home, I'll punt that thing 100 yards. And then I'll go up to it and I'll axe it. I don't want that in my house. I'm saying this stuff for others out there who should be aware, but the problem is that they think the government is their friend. They think that none of these secret societies exist, that they can trust in them, that they have what's in our best interest in mind. They don't realize that what's in their best interest in their own minds is killing us off and actually replacing us with robots when they don't need us to be their slaves anymore because they hate us. They think we're cattle. We're goy. That's what they call us. So again, back on topic. To summarize this, Facebook having this patent, people knowing that this is out there, you would think might affect it in some way where people go, I don't want you hacking into my my computer camera and watching my facial expressions every time. That means that they're spying on your screen. I mean, it's really frightening. Really frightening. But people are just going to roll their eyes when they hear this video, if they're not somebody who follows the channel and is awake, and they're going to go, that's just paranoia, man. It's not paranoia. It's a fact. They've predictively programmed us to let us know that this was what the future held, and now it's all here, and it's all happening. But the scary part is that willingly, through mind control, our so-called brothers and sisters out there, the zombies, as we should just call them all, are enabling them and giving them more and more power to take away not just our privacy and our freedom of speech and all of these things. They're taking it all away because the zombies are allowing it. We're in the minority, the people who are awake. The masses out there, if we can get to them and reach them and say, stop trusting in your government, stop believing in the Hegelian dialectic here, believing in a left and a right, caring about Trump and Hillary and all this stuff. It's all part of the show. If only we could wake them up. They could realize that you should not be trusting and relying on your government. You should be trusting in God, and you should be relying on yourself and being self-sufficient on your own, learning how to do all these things on your own, build, cook, forage, things to survive, because when they pull the plug, no one's going to know what to do. And that's a little bit off topic, but it's all relevant in correlation with what they're doing. And again, this is Facebook now, patenting accessing your camera, no big deal for people, recording you without your permission, and then playing it off and going, well, we want to see what makes you happy and what doesn't. And people go, oh, that's cool, that's neat. That's a new app. Because people spend most of their day on filming themselves on their phones. So like, what's the big deal? I walk around filming myself on a stick. What are those things? I mean, people think I'm making up. My phone, literally, I don't even know if you want to call it a phone. Okay, but I'm aware of technology and all this stuff. I'm not stupid. But I don't know what the stick is called. People walk around with a stick. They stick their phone with a stick. Whatever it's called, selfie stick, right? They walk around with that stuff like they're so important, filming everything, going, oh, yeah, look at me. So you don't think they're willingly going to want to give this privacy up, thinking that this is a cool idea? Of course they are. All this stuff fits in together. Why they've created a nation of people who take pictures of every meal they eat and everything they do. They want you on the device, filming around the clock, doing all this stuff around the clock. And those of us that don't go along with it, obviously they don't want us here. But they don't really want those people here either. They look at them as legitimate cattle. They look at us as a threat, because we are a threat to them. Because information is key. Awakening people to the truth is key. The zombies out there don't have any information to wake up. But those of us out there who are trying to speak and push us up, we're trying to wake people up, to ask questions, to observe, to critically think, to not give up your rights, to not give up your privacy. That's why it's important for channels like this to remain. And that's why I'm continuing, despite, not getting much support on Patreon. And those of you who do, God bless you. I appreciate it greatly. But, out of 190,000 followers or whatever, but I'm going to continue. I'm trying my best to get as much content out there as I possibly can, as they censor this as much as they possibly can. We all have to keep, getting the message out there. It's so critical that people don't give into these mind controls and just go, oh, it's no big deal. It's just some feature Facebook's using. Oh, it's fine. Because then people get used to that. Then they get, oh, what's the big deal with this? What's the big deal with, Big Brother, literally, the government handing us cameras and telling us to hang them on our roofs? around the clock with speakers so they can record us. People just go, oh, well, we already have our phones and they already do. Yeah. Oh, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Next thing you know, you're in a military state. People are still under control of their devices, walking into walls, not knowing what's going on, and everything's gone. Freedoms are gone. But they won't realize it because they don't realize what's going on. That's why we got to keep waking them up. Anyway, I went off topic. I felt like ranting when I saw this. The privacy stuff is just unbelievable to me that people out there are so willingly to give it up, that they think that this stuff is just new waves in technology. Even though Zuckerberg and the former FBI director even tape up their own computers and microphones because they're afraid to be hacked by a legitimate hacker. But the common person goes, oh, who cares? Who cares? The government wouldn't do that. No, they wouldn't. They're not powerful, greedy, sick human beings who sacrifice people who worship Satan. No. The Bible foretold us all this stuff about what's going on in the end time period. Looks more and more like this is it. Because this world is getting dumber by the second, and it's scary. We got to pray for these people. We got to keep getting the message out to wake them up and snap them out of this slumber they are in before it's too late. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.